All right, welcome back, everybody, for the West Coast
Good evening.
Report. And Michael Haynes, me, Captain Sergio, and our special guest today, David Johnson. And you're going to be hearing more and more and more about David and his app software for your phone. That I tell you, David, it's been great. I've been sitting in my couch at night, just going through Tampa Bay and looking at all the bottom and marking spots that I think will be potential fishing spots. So. It's just so you know, Dave Johnson is the CEO. He's the Fish Reveal, Reveal, because a lot of people think about the other guy that's got a name that sounds like it. And so this is really great. I think I'd love to have him on because I got turned on. And I tell you what, it makes it so easy that I can sit at home and look for these spots. And then hopefully when I get out there, I'm already got a good starting point. So, David, bring us up to date. How you got started? What made you get into this?
Yeah, sure. First of all, thanks for having me on, Sergio. Fish Reveal was basically my own personal project. I've been in technology for a long time, and I'm a pretty avid offshore guy. So I moved to the Tampa area about 3.5 years ago. And I was fishing out of Venice, Louisiana. So I didn't have any spots at all, right? And I think everybody's probably gone through the process of buying waypoints and things like that. And the reality is the only stuff that you're going to purchase is stuff that's already been fished out or it's not there anymore. It's a struggle to find good spots. And not knowing anybody, I didn't really have a lot of options. So I built, when I fished Venice, I built an app around high resolution bottoms. And so I built that for myself here in Tampa. And then over a couple of years, meeting people, fishing, having fishing buddies, they'd see what I was using and they're like, well, how do I get that? And then I started thinking, well, maybe this is actually more than just my personal fishing charts. Maybe there's a market there to be had. And so I started developing it out about 2 years ago for a market ready product. And the bottom line is it lets you really don't even need waypoints anymore. Waypoints become like a statement of history because you can see the entire bottom and you can drive out to a depth and you can find every ledge, every coral head, every rock, anything that's going to hold fish, you can just drive right to it and you see your boat over it. And it just makes the whole fishing process easy. So I've taken guys who really have never offshored and within a matter of a week or two, they're catching fish consistently, which for me was, a multi-decade process to get up to speed, to be able to figure out where the fish were, what types of structures to find, what types of bottoms, how to read sonar, all these things that, quite honestly with the app, you don't have to have that. You can just drive to the structure, drop a line, and there's going to be fish there. There might not be the fish you want, but you're going to get fish every time because you're on top of the structure where they live.
So now, how do you gather this information? I mean, I guess it's a good question because a lot of people have information like this, but I think you get it and you bring it out in more detail. So how do you go about all of this?
Yeah, well, I think most everybody in the bathymetric game, which is the technical definition for ocean floor mapping, we're all using government sets of data because NOAA goes out and does scans. And ultimately, the reason they're the ones doing it is because these scans are extremely expensive to produce. You're talking about sonar units that weigh 1,500 pounds, boats that are the size of a freighter, going back and forth over the ocean like mowing grass, right? That's how this data is collected. Now, technology is coming along and accelerating that, so we're about to have a lot more data because of that technology change. But that's how most all data is collected. There are private companies that go out and collect, but the resolution on that data is not great because they're using lower end sonar units. The units that the government's using are like $1.5 to $2 million for the sonar unit, right? That's not including all the other things you need to do, thousands of gallons of fuel and diesel to be able to go run the ship that's big enough to be able to tow, a 1,500 pound sonar unit. So it's produced by the government, but what we do that's different is my background being in technology for 30 years is data compression. So I can take very large files and produce them at very high quality resolution without being large. And that's where I think we excel. So the companies out there that are doing this, they just can't produce the resolution that the data has because it's such a large file. For anyone who understands technology, your average cell phone is somewhere between 100 and 200 gigabyte range. This data would take about 1,000 to 2,000 cell phones to hold in its natural state. And that would be if it was 100% of your storage. So what we do is we take that and literally cut it down by 1,000 and still give you the same clarity that you get in the original data. So I think we're unique in that.
Now, and going through so what I can see, now I noticed like, and I'm talking about Tampa Bay because a lot of the people that are watching close to us here, you go out a certain distance and it looks like it kind of quits.
Yes.
Explain what's the reasoning behind that.
Well, the reason is because this data is produced by sonar. So as you get shallower, your cone becomes narrow, right? So the deeper you are, the wider that cone is. So say you're in 10 feet of water, your cone might be 15 feet wide, right? Now, if you're in 50 feet of water, you've got a 75-foot wide cone. So the amount of rows you have the amount of passes you have to make in a boat is increased dramatically when you get into shallows. So sonar is a difficult technology to capture that shallow water data. Now, there is new technology, which I was mentioning before, which is called LiDAR, okay? That allows a plane to fly over, and it actually excels at shallow water. The state of Florida is in the process of collecting that data right now. We're going to have a data drop next year, which will give complete cover somewhere between 80 and 100 feet of water across the entire Florida coast. It'll be the first time in history that we can see what's under the ocean out to the 80-foot mark. Some areas it'll be out to 100 feet. And so when that data comes online, we'll be adding that into the Fish Reveal app at the same high quality, and you'll get complete cover of Tampa Bay. But that's why that data doesn't exist. No one has that data. So you're going to see things that no one in the history of the world has ever seen before, which is really exciting to me. Maybe I'm just a nerd, but knowing every structure, every rock, like that sounds really exciting to me.
Well, I'll tell you what's exciting for me, that I'm sitting here on the sofa at night, and I'm doing this on my cell phone, right? And I'm going through and I'm saying, oh, that looks like a ledge right there.
Yep.
Oh, and look, it looks like a couple. So I'm just marking it, and then my theory is, in 2 or 3 weeks when I get out there, I can go to those spots and then double check them and say, yeah, look, maybe I need to be here a little bit more, or no, this was not really. But one of the questions that one of our viewers is already asking is, some of these other people that are doing this map stuff, do they have more covers than you do right now, or?
There could be. It depends on the app, but I would say that there's no app out there that has high definition coverage at the level that we do for the coverage area that we have. There are apps out there that might give you more data. Like another way to do this, it would be to take like Google satellite data. You'll get some smudge, but you don't have no idea what that smudge is. And I can tell you from comparing satellite imagery to high definition bottom scans, things that look like a smudge on satellite are actually just a ball of sand, and you can see that in our scan, but you can't see that. So you can get a wider coverage area, but the detail isn't there. So things will appear to be structured that are not structured. And we can show, and we have some comparisons of that on our website where you can see Navionics versus us.
Well, what's Navionics? What that they use is different from you?
They're just integrating more scans. We only integrate high quality scans. So if a scan's like some of the scans that Navionics integrates are from the 1990s. Okay, so that data most likely is totally irrelevant to what the structure looks like now, and it's very low quality. So I've been out in the water side by side fishing Navionics. You'll see what looks like it's some sort of shading or structure on Navionics. You pull it up on mine, it's sand, right? So you're wasting your time in fishing those spots, but you don't know it, the lack of quality.
No, I know, and Mike, this will be interesting to you. I know for a fact, I went to one spot that I've had this old barge for years. I mean, since the 70s, I found this barge in Tampa Bay, and it's on there. And I looked at it, and you look at it on that Fish Reveal app, and it's amazing. You can actually see the rectangular barge sitting down there. I mean, you can actually see it. It's not like, oh, it's a blurry thing. It looks like, no. You can actually see the shape of the barge sitting in the bottom. Now, it's only 25 feet of water because it's off the ship's channel. But, I mean, you can see it crystal clear.
Well, and I guess that's the question I got for, our area up here, and of course, north through the Big Bend area. I mean, we're we're dealing with very shallow water.
Mhm.
The majority of the time, you gain a mile, or for every mile you go out, you might gain a foot. So
Yes.
a lot of my reefs and rocks and stuff that I fish on are, relatively in 5 to 6 foot in water, which are very productive. But
Mhm.
is that technology going to be able to locate those as well?
Yeah, well, it will with the new data that we're getting. Those areas currently aren't scanned at all, and one of the reasons is because it's so shallow. I actually used to fish out of Yankeetown, so that was 15 years ago. So I know the area. It's very shallow, and there are no scans of that area that I'm aware of at all because the government just doesn't mess with stuff that shallow. But with the Florida project, because it's lidar collection from an airplane, all water out to the 80-foot mark for the entire coast of Florida will be part of that. So what I would say is we're not a solution for you today, but we will be a solution for you soon. Yeah.
I got you. Now, will it show as well, obviously, rocks or structure, reefs, boats, stuff like that, something coming off the bottom really can, you can pretty much obviously see that. But my question is, because there is an old bombing range out here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, will it show those depressions and anything? I mean, what's your detail as far as that? Because, we do have some places that are just bowls, but on some of these bowls, you've got some ledges on the edge of those bowls. And there's a couple of those places that I have right now that, it's a very productive spot for me. Will it be able to see those ledges in those bowls as well from the old bombing ranges?
It definitely will. You can see right now, I can tell you the difference by looking at something. If it's limestone, I can see holes within the limestone. So when you're fishing like a pothole bottom for like red grouper or something like that,
right? Yep.
I can drop into a 5-foot hole
years ago,
and I can put my boat on top of that 5-foot hole. And that data is not as good as the data that we're about to get into 26 because 26 is using cutting edge technology. It's hard to say because the scan this size has never been done, but we're guessing that we'll be able to pick up somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 centimeters. So that means a rock roughly about that big will show up on the scan.
Wow.
Okay. So it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I would say so. Now, as far as anything other than inshore, say around mangroves or anything else like that, are you how close, I guess my question is, to the shoreline are you going to be getting with that?
That's a good question.
Mazes of mangroves. Reason why I'm asking, you have mazes of mangroves out there. Is it a possibility that you guys would do something as close as that, or just in certain areas? That's my question, basically.
Well, the data is going to be based on the Florida Shoreline Project, so it is a ocean-based project. I don't know that they're going to be going into backwater as much.
Okay.
Those are things that we actually have plans on doing proprietary scanning over the life of this project, because there will just be there's also freshwater that we would like to have scanned too, right? Because like this data would be relevant to your Bass Pros and things like that. The reality is that the technology is just it's inhibitively expensive, and that's just now starting to change, which is why most of the world's oceans aren't mapped. It's not because the technology is not there, but it's like, are you going to drive a boat around the entire world like mowing the grass, right? That's a pretty intensive project. And then you include backwater in that, freshwater, lakes, rivers. But with us having our own technology, we can target areas that have usage. And we can go out. I mean, from an airplane, you can knock out a pretty substantial section in a day because you can scan it about 2,000 feet in the air. Oh, wow. And your swath is like around close to a half mile at that point. So, your passes on a boat, you're collecting a few hundred feet of data. Airplane, you're collecting, a quarter of a mile of data. So it can be cost effective, but the product has to grow to justify us doing that. And to my knowledge, no private companies are doing that currently.
Right.
So when you're telling me is, and again, it's me asking the question. So when you're looking at some of these things like Navionics and stuff like that, a lot of it, and I've got CMAT Reveal, but I noticed that yours seems to be really, really detailed. I mean, yes, so much better. Yeah. Why can't they do that?
Because they don't know. Well, there's a few answers for that. One, we're using the same data. Okay. The reason that they can't do it the way we're doing it is because they're building on legacy software. This is one of the reasons that we target cell phones, because although cell phones are relatively cheap, they actually have cutting edge technology in them. So your MFDs on your boat, there's a lot of legacy software in those products. And quite honestly, I think those products need to be revamped too. I would love to be part of that over the long-term life of this product, because the processing speed, the ability for storage, resolution, all those are issues on MFDs. So the manufacturers are producing data that those MFDs can actually handle. And the size is also a problem. To give you an idea, the Tampa area is 4 petabytes of data. So that would be your normal MFD. You need 1,000 MFDs, maybe 1,500 MFDs to hold that data in its current state. So they have to be able to take that data, compress it to where they're not losing visibility. And that's something that I built proprietary technology around a long time ago for one of my other companies. So it just happened to fit into this, you know.
Now, on your phone, because it's strictly, you can only get yours on a phone app, right?
Yes, you can stream it to an MFD that if it's got HDMI, and there's ways to do it even without HDMI, you can stream, but you can't run like a chart on your MFD with the software, because the software, the chart, the MFDs are protected by the manufacturer, right? They're not open to me developing for them. I think that we can be the catalyst for change on that over time, which is my hope, because you look at something like Apple or Google, anyone can develop a product for those devices. And the manufacturers are kind of holding back development by keeping it proprietary, you know? So at some point we get to knock on their door and say, look, this is what we're doing. We'd love to be able to release on your products, but that day is not today. So we started with phone because it's something we can fully control.
I mean, you can do it. Simrad and Lowrance has a lot of flexibility, but then some of these like Humminbird and Garmin, man, you can't. You know, like I run Florida Marine Tracks, and that's why a lot of people buy Simrad and buy Lowrance, because some of this SD cards, there's some of the software that you can't run on Garmin. I've had people that I know actually sell their Garmin, take it off their boat, and it's fairly new because they're running shallow and they wanted the Florida Marine Tracks and they couldn't get it to work. Now they came out with something for $2,500 that you can jerry rig and everything else. So at that point, just sell what you got and just put one that works, you know?
Right.
But, what is it? What kind of effect does it have on your cell phone as far as, you know, storage and all this kind of stuff?
Well, you know, the general maps, we've got down to about 1,000th of what their original size was. So like Tampa is about a 4.2 gigabyte file. So, you know, on a normal cell phone, you're talking 4 to 8% usage, maybe even 2% usage. So it's not a massive hog, but it's not small by any means. But that's just a matter of how much data is there. I mean, that is as small as we can get it and maintain resolution. I did a lot of work to make sure it was as small as we could possibly get it and without losing any detail. And that's another problem with the MFDs is I don't even know that the MFDs as they exist could actually handle the level of detail that we're pushing, because they're not built for that. You know, they're not built for that, but they could be. The technology is actually pretty cheap. I mean, you look at like an Android tablet, you could pick up an Android tablet for 60 to 80 bucks and it can render our software no problem. But the MFDs just aren't built that way because there's no market pushing for that. You know, so, which again, we hope to change.
And you brought up a good subject right here, because I'm learning. Okay, that's why I have you on, because your software really intrigued me, and I'm very dedicated to what I do. I mean, I love this fishing. It's a passion with me, just like it is with Mike. But you don't have to have a phone, right? Can you run this like on the tablet? Your software?
Yeah, if you don't have anything, you can go buy a $70 tablet. I mean, I've got several laying around here right here. These are Amazon tablets. I think these run about $60. They'll run the software no problem. You know.
Now let me ask you this: I'm subscribed to your software. Mm-hmm. It's on my phone, but I get a tablet. Mm-hmm. Do I have to subscribe again?
It's multi-device. It's not multi-system. So if you subscribe to Apple, you have to use Apple products. If you subscribe to Google, you have to use Google products. And the reason for that is Apple and Google protectionism, which is unfortunate. There's been lawsuits about it, but ultimately they control those systems. So we cannot cross-platform. We can't let an Apple subscription give you access on Google. They won't allow it.
But so I got an iPhone, right?
Mm-hmm.
I buy an iPad.
Yep.
Now, how can I watch? So, because it'd be so much easier for me, I'll go out and just buy me a damn iPad, just so I can sit in my sofa and play with it. But how do I get it to work now on my iPad? And I've already bought a subscription for my phone. You have to buy another subscription?
No, as long as you're logged into the same Apple account, you log into the app, you download the app onto the iPad, you log in, and it will show that you're already subscribed, and you just download the map on the device.
Well, you know what? Hey, Mike, I'm going to be buying me an iPad this coming week.
Yeah, just make sure that you get one with GPS, because they don't all have GPS. The Wi-Fi only iPads don't have GPS chips. So if you're only using it for at home, just to make marks for yourself, it's fine. But if you want to use it on the water, you want a GPS chip, because it'll orient
I can
you.
use the phone out there. Now,
Yeah.
So once you save it on the app, if you go to your phone, it's saved on the phone too, right? Or not?
No, once you download the map, it is saved locally, and we did that specifically so you don't need cell coverage. Like I'm fishing,
But
40, 50 miles offshore.
I've got 65 numbers that I've, over the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I put into my phone. So now I get this iPad.
Yes.
Is it those numbers going to show on my iPad too?
Yes.
Because
Those are connected to your profile.
Okay.
As long as you log in with there's two profiles going on. You have a profile with the provider, which is either Google or Apple. So that's where your subscription lives. And then there is your account with us, which is what you register when you start off. Those are interchangeable. So all catch logs, waypoints that are created under your user profile with us are device transferable. Any device you log in, you could log into Mike's device and it will load your waypoints.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Mike, this is see how interesting. Now, are you going to try to be at the boat show this year?
Myself?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'll make it up to the Tampa Boat Show. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I really like to have you do a talk on it, a seminar on Saturday and Sunday. But I got to know for sure, because by the 25th, I got to send the people at the boat show who's going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I'm in. I'll do it.
Because all we need is, if you just bring a bunch of your videos and stuff like that, we have the laptop there that you can just,
sure,
put your SD drive in there and just and we can show it up on the screen, because we have a projector, we have everything. And
yeah, we can even show different structures,
especially for Tampa Bay. I think if we tied it in with fishing in Tampa Bay for grouper, and then have you as part of that seminar, so we can kind of interact with each other when you're talking about how to catch grouper in Tampa Bay, and then how to find the grouper. And that's where you're going to come in and show them the software that it takes and how to read it, so you can go out and do what this other captain was just saying on how to catch them. So you could be the guy that's teaching them how to find it, and I can get the captain to talk about how to catch it. Does that make sense to you?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that's not a problem at all.
So you need to look at your calendars, 28th and 29th of September, Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be an issue.
Because the problem with this is, if you cancel, you kill me. Because they put all this in print. It goes on their website. They start putting full-page ads in their newspaper twice a week, starting the 1st of September. And then if you don't show up, we have egg in our face.
No. If I tell you I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. So
you
can put me down for it. I'll do it. You can put me down.
Do it?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll put together a presentation. We'll show different bottoms so that people can actually see how different bottoms look
I think
on the app with the data.
Yeah, it's going to be it's usually we're limiting it now, because again, I'm trying to do seminars that are different. You go to all these places and everybody talks about how to catch a redfish or how to catch a snook. Now, Mike comes in, and what makes Mike different is he's talking about catching this, but it's Crystal River. So it's outside this market area and people are interested. But like I've got the guy that invented the human hook dehooker.
Mm.
You ever seen that?
I don't know.
Mike?
I don't.
Oh man, he was at ICAST. I met him about 6 months ago. This stuff works. This guy is a mess. I mean, to show you that it works, he says, he's got fake arms and all that on his arm. He's a captain and he's an ER doctor in Fort Myers. Okay, mm-hmm. He got a MirrOlure and stuck the treble hooks right here. Boom, boom, all the way in.
On his arm?
And his arm.
Yes.
Yeah. That's dedication.
Yeah, it's just cool. Just watch. Boom, boom, and it just pops it out. When you look, little tiny prick holes.
Oh
now,
man.
Then he gets a regular, pretty good sized hook, like a 7-aught hook, sticks it in this arm all the way in and gets it out. And then he puts a fly on the top of his foot and pushes it in and gets it out. And it's all on video. This guy is unbelievable. But he says, he's telling me, Sergio, we can talk about it. I got these fake arms and show you how to do it. But he says, until people see it for real.
Mm-hmm.
So, in fact, at ICAST, he had volunteers, people that were volunteering. This is no lie. When I was at ICAST, they had a guy there with cotton swabs and alcohol, and people would come up and they would stick a hook in their arm, and he'd come out and go and take it right out.
Yeah, there were viral videos of it. The people were.
I love fishing.
Doing it just for fun.
So what I'm going to do is, I'm making the seminars 50 minutes long instead of an hour,
Mm-hmm.
and then at the end of every seminar, he's going to come on and just show you, okay, hey, you like to fish. Sooner or later, you're going to get hooked.
Oh, sure.
And he's going to show you different ways of taking the hook out, and then his tool. Because where the whole thing came is, it's like with you, it's funny because, you came about this idea because how much you like to fish. Well, he loves to fish, but he's also, and he's a captain, but he's a doctor, ER doctor. And he says, Sergio, over the years, you ought to see how many people come in with lures hanging off their nose, off their ear, right under their eye, all over the place. And, I tried all the different methods, and I got some that were pretty good, but they still tear you up.
Mm-hmm.
His method doesn't tear your skin up, because what it does, it pushes the barb down as it slides the hook out.
I'm sold. I could definitely use one of those on the boat.
So what I'm thinking is, I figured at the end of every seminar, I'm going to give this guy 10 minutes to show people with a fake arm and all of that, how and he's going to have his video, shows you how he did it on himself. And I think it's great. And I told him what they're doing. I have my booth next to the seminar area. This way, when somebody gets through, they can come up to the booth and you can come up and talk to them for a while, whatever you want. But I think for you, it's going to be great. I'll tie it in with grouper fishing in Tampa Bay, because a lot of people are really trying to learn Tampa Bay. Mm-hmm. And what better? You've got terrific. I'll swear by it. And hopefully by then, my boat's supposed to be done by the 15th of September. I'll be right about the time I'm coming back from North Carolina. So hopefully I can get that boat out to the Shift Channel, or my buddy gets his boat all finished, or we get the guy. I want to go out and get some footage myself, show at the boat show if I can, of Tampa Bay, actually
using it.
Yeah, using it. Yeah. Because I saw some of the stuff that you sent me from Todd, but I don't think he went into detail on the screen. I don't know. Yeah, I think some of that was lacking. I want to go more into detail, because I think that's what gets people to say, you know what, it's worth getting the app.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sold on it. Okay.
I'm glad it's working for you.
An iPad, because you sold me on it.
Have you tried any of the other features? Like the catch log is, I think we're the only person doing what we're doing with that, which is, it's like waypoints on steroids. So if you haven't played with that, it's worth playing with, because now you can actually code species, sizes, baits to a waypoint. So like, that's one of the other cool things about a cell phone. It's like you I don't know what your waypoints look like on your MFD, right? But if you're basically the captain's log that you have, like a charter, where you were, what you were catching, like all that's integrated in the app, and it prompts you to do that as you leave a spot. So like, it knows when you're pulling out of an area that you fished, it prompts you. You can easily, like within seconds, you can rate the spot, you can target species, you can put species count if you want, all the way down to a size and a photo per individual fish. So it's fast as you want it to be. You can just rate the spot 1 through 5 stars, or you can get granular, saying each fish, bait, size, weight, all that photo, so it's pretty unique in that respect.
I think one of the things we're going to have to do, honestly, and maybe before the boat show, if we can, is get you in my studio. Maybe get Mike to come down if he can come down.
Yeah.
And if you can bring the videos and any pictures you got and all this stuff, and we might be able to do on the Fishing Academy, which is my show that's educational.
Mhm.
It's not actually fishing, but we're educating people how to rig, how to do certain things, and probably do something on Fish Reveal about, you know, how to find the bottom, everything, all these things that you're talking about, but somehow get it so it's up on the screen.
Sure.
Make it like a 6, 7, 8 minute educational video. And that's I think that'll go viral on YouTube.
Just a quick question on the logging. I was just kind of perusing through there. Can you put the dates in there or any other notes as far as the catch?
As it stands right now, it automatically logs date. In the next update that we're pushing, it will log water temperature and current and conditions as well. So it'll be pulling that off the closest buoy. I think it's got notes, if I'm not mistaken. Let me pull up. I'm pretty sure that we allow for notes within there as well.
So I'm still trying to learn the software. I mean, I got it down now where I can put the color and the logo that I want, where I want it, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But of course, I'm doing it from my sofa at home, sitting in the living room, you know, watching TV while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, we have, you know, I've got logs, and usually what I go by, especially on my GPS and everything, you know, I have waypoints and I put them in at specific times.
Yep.
And I can kind of look at those times a year where one spot is working better than another. And that's kind of what I was looking at to see, because certain areas work better in certain times of the year, wintertime, summertime, et cetera, et cetera. And in order to log that, so you're productive at all times, and the weather changes, seasons changes, and you go, hey, about this time we were catching this on this area, so why don't we roll over there? Just to kind of plan your trip a little bit more.
Yeah, that was actually the whole intent of having it. Like, we don't just log the time, we log the period too. So you know the time you arrived at the spot, the time you left the spot. There are notes with it as well. I just double checked that to make sure. But yeah, you got the ability to write notes, so you can list species, and now you can go in and search by species. So I can search snapper and only the spots. Say I want to search mangoes. All that will show me is waypoints that are mangoes, right?
Gotcha.
And then you can cross-reference that by time of year. So if I want to search mangoes this time of year, I can do that, right? And what we're going to do over time is, once we get enough data logs from people, we're going to be able to feed them fishing spot suggestions based on their own data. So now you'll log in and it'll say, okay, there's 5 spots to go today after you pick what species you want to target. So we've got a vision, you know, but it takes time to get there. But I think the logging mechanism, to me, there's nothing like it on the market. And I built it specifically because, you know, when you fish a lot, if you're not keeping logs, you're just wasting data, right? You're relearning the same lessons over and over again.
Correct.
And my biggest problem is even remembering to log. So I'll get into a fishing pattern where the fish are biting. I'll pull off and I'll be like, oh man, which spot was I on when I did that? And so this helps you stop that too, because it prompts you as you're pulling out. We use geofencing. So when you leave the area, like within the 300-foot area, it will prompt you to rate the spot. You don't have to put detail. You can just pick a star rating and then come back to it if you want to. But you could say as detailed as you want, you know?
Okay, so
you know, I hate to say this because this is so interesting, but we're going to have to let you go, Dave.
Report.
Bring you back, because we've got 8 fishing reports to put on the air time. But let's talk during the week. I'm going to set you up then for Saturday and Sunday at the Tampa Boat Show.
Okay.
On the
Sounds
28th and 29th. And what I think what I'll do is I'll tie you in, I think, with a grouper seminar, Fishing Tampa Bay Grouper, because I think that's going to make it where it'll work pretty good. You know, it'll be a good tie-in. You got people that are interested in wanting to catch mango snapper and grouper and all that in Tampa Bay, and then you coming in and showing them the software that can make this happen for them. So if you're agreeable to that, then I'm going to work on that and get back to you. Okay.
Sounds like a plan.
And to tell us how they can get your app and all that a minute before we let you go.
Sure. You can search either Google Play Store, or you can search the App Store for Fish Reveal, or you can visit us at fishreveal.com. We've got some great comparisons on the website to see us compared to other people, so you don't have to take my word for it. Also, both apps are 100% free for a 7-day trial, so you can take them on the water see that it's actually helping you catch more fish before you spend any money.
Great. And Dave, thank you, man. I appreciate your time. I tell you, we just 40 minutes went by this evening. We're going to do it. That's why I think it's going to be great at the boat show, because I'm trying to bring different things to the venue at the boat show instead of the same old routine that people do every year. And I think things like you bringing Michael in with the de-hooker for your body. I mean, all these are things that I think are going to be interesting, different. So thank you very much. And we'll get all your information out in the next day or two. We'll put it out on Facebook and YouTube. Okay.
Yeah. Sounds great. Thanks for having me, Sergio.
Right. Thank you, man.
Nice talking to you, Mike.
Good, David. We'll see you on Tampa Boat Show.
That was great. So what do you think, Mike?
I like it.
Hey, I've been sitting at home.
There's going to be
sitting at home and playing around with this, and you can see a ledge as clear as daylight because, when you're using that side scan, if anything comes off the bottom, it throws a shadow.
Yeah.
So anytime you see that black line, man, that's a ledge because it's throwing the shadow. But we better get things going. Let's get Michael Dawson on.
Go for it.
Hey guys, Captain Michael Dawson here, Patriot Guide Service, here at this week's fishing report and forecast. So this week out of the Anklet region has been very exciting. Lots of stuff going on, lots of changes going on out here, lots of cool catches. So a little bit to go through this week. So first major announcement for the Anklet region, for all those guys going out there scalloping and enjoying the scalloping out there, they did do an emergency closure on the scallops. Until further notice, scallop season is now closed, so make sure you're not going out there going scalloping. If you want to and you want to still take your family, you have to go north of the Hernando-Pasco line. So Pasco County is now closed until further notice. They are saying it's going to reopen back up before season ends. We'll see what goes on there. They might give it an extension. We'll see what happens. But as of now, season is closed. As for fishing is getting red hot out there. Temperatures get high this time of year. You get lots of fresh water at this with the rain. And this really fires off two of our favorite fish to catch in the area. It's going to be our redfish bite and our tarpon bite. Redfish is going to be about as good as it gets right now, averaging 30 to 50 redfish a trip right now. Throwing cut bait on the bottom, just letting them come pick it up. Concentrate on areas around dirty water. So you have the river flowing water out. Go on the north or south side of that river, north or south side of any canal, the Cody River, Anklet River, Gulf Harbors canals. These redfish get pushed out of the river by all this fresh water entering the system, and they'll sit right on the edges of the river. So you can catch a lot of nice redfish this time of year. Another fish being pushed around with all this rain is all the juvenile tarpon. Just concentrate in the same areas, but instead of seeing on the outside edges of the river, you'll see the tarpon seeing more in the dead center of the river. So that'd be mouth of the Anklet, mouth of the Cody again. Any little canal systems coming out of the Gulf Harbors are holding these little tarpon. Anywhere from 20 to 60 pound fish, so it's a lot of fun out there. Caught a couple opportunities at the tagged redfish for the CCA this week, which is pretty neat. We have landed this same fish twice now already, and have lost on boat side a third time. So just need a tagged angler to hop on the boat. Now we can probably win this tagged redfish division for the CCA. So if you want to get out there, give me a call. We can go out there and try to get you on a trip and get this tagged redfish. Captain Michael Dawson, Patriotic Guide Service.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
All right, let's get Jessica on.
Hey guys, Captain Jessica Hanovic here with You'll Hook 'em Charters out of Chaz, Florida. Redfish bite has been doing pretty well. Shrimp's been really hard, and if you do find it, they're pretty tiny because they're pretty offshore in that colder water. So I would use some pinfish, whether they're alive or dead. If they do die on you, just cut them. Mud minnows seem to be doing good too. Snook season is opening September 1st, so you should book a charter. I think last week we caught 4 or 5 keeper snook already. So the snook have been doing very well lately. I even caught a flounder. I've been using mostly artificial with Q8 super baits. Trout have been good. I've been even finding them in the backcountry now. So this week I changed it up a little bit and I did more of the low tide. So when I'm fishing the low tides, I seem to try to find more of the pockets or trenches where the current's moving really well. The fish seem to like it in that on low tide. Have any questions, reach out to me. You can book me through my phone number, which is 352-464-7309, or you can message me on Facebook. Tight lines, get out there, catch some dinner, make some memories.
All right, thank you, Jessica.
Thanks, Jess.
Did you read that thing from Donald? According to CCA, there's still no registered.
I did. I did see
can't
that.
believe it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
almost over.
I know.
What's
It's,
going on?
This would be the first year that happened. That's surprising, or may have been the first year, but yeah, that's surprising. Nobody has caught that redfish just yet to win those boats.
Well, I mean, there's tagged redfish caught, but it's been by non-registered
Correct.
anglers.
Non-registered. Yeah.
So, that tells me maybe that there's not enough registered anglers trying to catch these redfish.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's very true. I just don't. It's unbelievable to hear that nobody has caught a registered angler has not caught one yet.
I mean, it's crazy. All right,
Still plenty of time.
let's get Scotty Rowe.
Hi everybody, this is Captain Scotty Rowe from Charlotte Harbor. Another great week on the water. Caught a little bit of everything. I actually spent one day chasing those big tarpon around the harbor. That was a lot of fun. We didn't get any to the boat, but we put a couple in the air in that 80 to 100 pound range. It's absolutely exciting, and we're using live ladyfish to catch those. And it is, if you ever seen a big tarpon cream a ladyfish, it is absolutely awesome. It is like 100 miles an hour of excitement. Absolutely awesome. Still running into a few of those black drum in that 30, 40 pound range. They thinned out on me a little bit this last week, but I still managed to run into a few. Trout bite is absolutely spectacular, whether you go off the east side bar or the west wall, outside the bar in that 3-4 foot of water, catching plenty of those. And that's another thing you're catching when you're catching those trout. A lot of ladyfish, and people consider them garbage, but they're great bait and they're fun to catch because they jump a lot. And I was just using paddle tails to catch those, little assassin paddle tails. Redfish, definitely seen an uptick in those. The following week, I had run into some really big monsters over 40 inches, but this week, just some of those little lower slot, 20, 22 inches, having fun with those. And they're scattered around. Best bet on those, to be honest with you, has been shrimp or pinfish. This time of year, when that water gets really hot, those redfish seem to go after the shrimp and the pinfish a lot quicker than they will, trying to chase a whitebait around. Snook bite, pretty much anywhere you go. Canals, flats, they're everywhere. A lot of them little guys, but fun, a lot of action. Another fish I ran into a lot this week was some of those Jack Crevalles. Didn't get any big monsters, but either I was in the canals or on the flats, I ran into some of those in that 3 to 5 pound range, and they're always a great fun and never a dull moment when those things are around. So great week on the water, guys. If you want to come on down here to Charlotte Harbor or come on up and go get some rods bend, we can do it for you. Tight lines, everybody. We'll talk at y'all next week.
Thank you, Scotty.
Thanks, Scotty.
All right, what about and then we'll go and talk a little bit, then we'll get the other ones in. How about Jim Pace?
Hey guys, this is Jim with your Pasco Fishing Report. As of now, August 6th, Pasco County has shut down the scallops due to bacteria in the water. If you want to go on the FWC website and take a look at that, it shows you exactly what's going on. As of now, Sunday, it's still closed. I'm not sure, I haven't heard if they are going to be opening it before the actual season closes itself. So if you have any trips or anything, you might want to call whoever it is and get it all rescheduled. As far as fishing goes, fishing's been great. 2 weeks ago, I went offshore. Take a look at the local rocks to see how the gag activity is due to gag season get ready to open. Rock piles are holding a lot of mangrove snapper right now. Just chumming a little bit and they're coming right up. You can grab a limit very fast right now on these rock piles. Only about, 20 foot of water, 15 foot of water. They're just stacked up really, really nice in our area. Went farther out, tried to find some more gags, got them pretty good on a couple rock piles I had. Shark showed up soon as I caught 2 gags off of one spot. Shark showed up, so I didn't want to mess up that particular spot, so I left. I found some nice lane snapper, and in about, I think it was about 40 foot of water, 35, 40 foot of water. I actually saw them on the sonar, dropped down, and got a few, brought them home, and had some nice food. We also went out a couple times for inshore fishing. Same thing. It's hot. You gotta get out there early or get out there late. Cut bait for redfish is the key. Cut threads, cut mullet, cut ladyfish, anything with a lot of oil. You just sit them out there in 3. I've been using about 3 different rods, using number 2 split shot right above the hook, probably about 5 or 6 inches. I've been trying to hit the grass flat area where it transitions to a deeper hole. Seems like the redfish are kind of going, the larger redfish I should say, are using that as kind of a freeway. So they're going up and down it. Granted, I'm getting a lot of stingrays as well. Those are always fun to catch for the kids and stuff, but the big reds have definitely been coming in that area. Small reds are still sitting up in the mangroves. You just got to toss it in there deep during high tide. Snook still on the beaches, still in the back, a little bit on the back creeks, on those tight little areas that go between 2 big areas. They're sitting there just staged up 3, 4, 5 at a time, less than 24-inch snook, but they're still fun nonetheless. Just float a couple white baits through there and catch them quick. Catching trout, same place I'm catching snook right now. Right there, any type of moving water on the beach with a little bit of a drop off. They're sitting there. 5, 6 feet drop off, they're sitting there. So as far as ladyfish as well, there's been a lot of ladyfish around the beaches too to catch your cut bait. So if you guys want to get out there and get your cut bait as well, stock up, freeze them up so you got them next time you go out. But other than that, we'll see how next week goes, how the weather is, and how the rain's been going. One tip I would have for you guys this week is bait. Make sure you bring some ice bottles with you for your bait. Bait's dying quick on these flats. It's 91, 92 degrees lately. Even with flowing water going through my wells, they're still dying awfully quick, quicker than they should be. So that's a quick tip for you guys. Bring some ice bottles. Bring them out there, put them in there as soon as you catch the bait. That'll help them survive a lot longer. But I guess that's all I got for this week. I'll see you guys next week.
All right. Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
All right. Well, let's get let's get Stacy, and then we get Pam.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Captain Stacy with your Northwest Florida Fishing Report. The last few weeks have been just a major struggle to get fish, keeper size, the fish that we want in the boat, because it's just been miserably hot. But the last 5 or 6 days have been phenomenal. Mangrove snapper, keeper size trout, redfish. I will say though that you have to get out there early in the morning or just when it cools off in the evening. I like fishing around 6 or 7 and just fish for like an hour. I mean, it has been phenomenal. And the trout bite is getting more shallow. Like 2 or 3 weeks ago, it was 8 to 12 feet of water up here. And now it's 5, 6 feet of water. So it's crazy to me how it changes so fast. But the water temp has dropped a little tiny bit, so it makes a difference with these fish. And the mangrove snapper have been keeper size, nice, fat mangrove snapper. Redfish it's almost like it's fall right now. I mean, maybe they're making their run a little early because they have been everywhere. St. George has just, like the evening time fishing, St. George has been phenomenal. Big, big bull reds. I'm just excited that fall is coming. Fall is my favorite time of year, and I feel like we're getting there. Like, I feel like the fish bite is starting to act like fall is coming. And I know the kids are back to school, so that's usually when fall fishing starts really heating up. or I should say turning up, because it's not heating up. It's cooled off a lot here. By a lot, I mean 10 degrees in the morning. Like it's 85 instead of 95. So get out there, fish. I mean, it's coming. It's getting very good. I am ecstatic that it is not like it was 2 weeks ago, because that was hot, miserable, and a tough bite. But it's back.
All right, great.
Thanks, Daisy.
Real
Yeah,
good.
I would agree with her on that. The fishing is definitely improving.
It is. All right, let's get Pam, Hota.
Out here fishing with the star lady herself, Lisa Fitzgerald. What are we fishing for? Redfish. Look how beautiful. Get him back. So, not a redfish. A nice little drum. So, yeah, look at this beautiful redfish. And yeah, Lisa's out there out fishing me. All right, baby. Hi, this is your kayak angler, Pam Moore. Although this report is coming from a Ginu, I had the opportunity to fish with the multi-talented Captain Lisa Fitzgerald, head of the CCA Florida Star Tournament. We were out obviously looking for redfish, but jumped so many tarpon, found redfish mostly between 26 and 27. Each of us caught probably almost a dozen of each size. We also found flounder and some black drum. One of the things I want to remind you is please take care of your fish. We released 100% of what we caught that time, so there's no ill effect up in that area. We also, you guys have asked me what lures we're using. So as you can see here, there's a couple of pictures of the fish with lures in their mouths, so you could see them. We used basically the Johnson spoon, the Thumper shrimp, and Slayer's chicken colored paddle tail. Those were all what caught most. And again, it was more the shrimp pattern that in the Nature Coast area, in the darker water that we were fishing, is what actually most of the fish hit. So anyhow, tight lines, and please remember to release as many fish as you can. A limit doesn't mean that's what you goal for. A limit is to stop you from taking more. Anyhow, tight lines, and have a great day.
Okay.
Thanks, Pam.
And then I'm just going to show a couple of the pictures of the fish that we caught in Louisiana. And then we're going to give Mike Haynes the last and final stage for the Crystal River fishing report. And some of the redfish that we were catching up in Louisiana filming last week. And
Yeah, they
I can tell you,
beautiful.
they were, and those aren't the big ones. I mean, we even got Hota. We caught so
There
many.
you go, Hota.
We caught over 100 redfish in 3 days. And that's something new. It's called the Shrimp Walker. We tried that thing, and it worked really good.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, we did that, and it really worked really, really good. And that was our home base right there. It's a converted Coast Guard buoy tender. And I mean, we caught redfish up to 40-something pounds, 48 inches.
Nice.
Unbelievable.
Nice.
You know,
Yeah.
and we're going back next year, no question about it. And now let's see what you got. What kind of fishing report we got from Captain Michael Haynes here today?
Good evening, Captain Mike Haynes, Fishbones Charters out of Crystal River, Florida. Well, with these afternoon storms and a lot of rain, a lot of cloud cover, the bite has increased here in Crystal River. Water temperatures are down a little bit, about 82 to 84 in most places. And it's picked the bite up considerably. Inshore, redfish and snook hanging around those mangroves, always on the shadow side, of course, but definitely as well with some moving water, not the fast water because we've got a full moon happening, so his tide's a little strong. So you're finding these fish kind of on the secondary points or something that's a little sheltered from the main tide, but at least there's some movement of water, and that seemed to be the key, always having movement of water. Anywhere in a back cut or in a little pond or something like that, you're really not doing much out there. It's still too hot in those little areas there. So definitely along the banks, most of the time fishing on the north side where the shadow is, and just kind of making sure that water's moving and throwing some pinfish, throwing shrimp, and even cut baits, and it seems to be doing really well. Also been offshore just checking some of the reefs and stuff, because grouper season starts in September, so want to kind of get prepared for that, seeing where some of these grouper are. We tested some of our shallow water reefs, and it looks like the grouper bite is there. They're not as big, but the bite is there. Definitely catching some nice grunts and mangrove snapper, sea bass, sheep's head. I mean, kind of had a whole gamut of different types of species we're catching out there on those shallow water rocks. So if the inshore isn't working for you too well, just go find some offshore rocks and throw some jigs on shrimp, and that's pretty much what we've been doing, even catching those grouper. I threw some pinfish at them, got a couple of hits, some smaller ones, but nothing really. We actually caught more grouper on the shrimp on a jig head than we did anything else. So it was very interesting to see that. But so those, we caught a couple decent sized grouper and a couple we'd lost that were probably decent, but we had lighter rods, so we really couldn't pull them out of the rock. So the grouper are there still in the shallows, which kind of surprised me. I figured they'd still be offshore a little bit, but it was very nice. Went out and did scalloping one of these days as well. And, the scalloping in the shallow waters is not that great. You're going to be searching for a while to get your limit, but a little bit farther out, we went out, had some kind of experienced snorkelers and divers, so it's a little easier when you're a little more experienced. But we did find those scallops, so we got our limit probably within a couple hours, pretty easy. It wasn't crazy, but it took a little work, but definitely got their limit out there relatively easy. Kind of wrapped it up a little early. So scallops are still out there, just a little farther out than you would think they would be. Just be cautious as well. There's been some reports of some sharks and stuff out there in that deeper stuff. So just be cautious, no incidents or anything else like that. Just be aware of the surroundings around you. Other than that, it's a fishing report for this week. Captain Mike Haynes, Fishbones Charters out of Crystal River, Florida.
Mike, that was a great report. And one other thing, believe it or not, yesterday I was cutting the grass in the morning out here, and I actually I came inside. It was early in the morning, about 9:30. And the air almost felt like a little bit of fall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
just for and then of course around 11 o'clock everything got hot again.
It doesn't last long, but
and that's that this is an indication that maybe we might have an early fall this year.
Would love that.
We've had it. I go back and look, and I remember living in this house. I've been here 20 years now. Over the years, some Septembers, by the September 15th, we would open the windows because the air was so cool and no humidity that we didn't need the air. It was just so comfortable in the house. And I'm hoping that I noticed that in the morning, the last few days, but that could all change again. It looked like it's just a little different, just a little bit,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. And that's what's, I think, has triggered that morning bite. We seem to have a better fishing in the morning, obviously with the cooler temps. It seems to be working well. About 11 o'clock or so, it just kind of dies off. It's getting warm and things kind of die off. So it's definitely better in the morning. But I'm afraid, it's probably going to change us for a little bit with that little storm brewing down there in the south, slowly coming this direction. Probably push our weather a little more humid. Hopefully not 100% humid, but we'll probably get a little impact of summer still a little bit late. But we're hoping definitely for some cooler weather, especially if the grouper season starts in September. That cooler weather will definitely help us out.
And just so everybody knows, and I've got to send you, I think I sent it to you, but if I'm next week we got Collier Thornton. He's the inventor of flashing assassin lures, and what they are, it started as a freshwater thing. They're lures, but they've got a flashy. I don't know if that's too bright here. They got a flash on the tail, kind of make it a weedless.
Okay.
And even on their small jig heads, they do the same thing. It's got a little piece of that Mylar tape that reflects light. And he says that it does improve the bike, you know, the catching of fish when things get a little slow. So we're going to have them in. I like to bring people who, you know, they're small companies. It's like David. This is his company. This guy that he invented this stuff is his company. And then on the 25th, we got another guy. He's the guy who came up with Boat Eye 360, which is a night. If you got a bigger boat, you can see really good at night, crystal clear. So I'm trying to, you know, start bringing people in to so we can have a fishing report, talk a little bit about fishing, but also about new products and new stuff. And I'm telling you, Mike, it's a shame that you don't have this fish reveal in your market. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I'd really look forward to seeing that. I mean, it's probably going to be, you know, there's good things and bad things because some of their secrets are going to be revealed. But you know, the water is the water, and you have to be there at certain times and certain conditions and certain baits. So I mean, it's going to show up some things, but you know, if you
can be on the spot and never get a bite because it's the wrong tide movement. You might go there 3 hours later and catch a bunch of fish, or they might not be there for a week or two. But you know, to me, I've been sitting at home just intrigued by this thing because I'm looking at the bottom, and like he said, GPS numbers will be a thing of the past because you'll just be able to go out there and just actually look at the bottom and say, hey, that looks good. Let me try it. And then you'll have a spot.
Right.
So
it'd be interesting to see.
It might break it up a little bit where not everybody's concentrated on a few rock piles.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see when it comes out next year what that reveals in the shallower waters. I mean, not only that, but it also can help to the fact of, you know, especially Crystal River area, so shallow, being able to see those hidden rocks that are breaking so many of our props and
well, you know, a lot of people find those rocks every day.
So yeah, it'll be definitely a help in one way or the other. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what that reveals when they finally get that in there for us in the shallower waters up here at the north. So it'll be interesting.
I'm looking forward to it. Okay, guys, thank you for tuning in to Florida West Coast Fishing Report and Captain Michael Haynes. And then Michael, when we get off the air a minute, hang on because I need to talk to you about the boat show. All right, thank you, everybody. God bless.
Thank you, guys. See you next.